यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय मंश परिभ्राजकाचार्य राधा कृष्ण को गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, द्वारका धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glory to Jesus. All glory to Jesus. Thank you very much.
Nadia Gojumanithananda Mahajan. Nadia Gojumanithananda Mahajan. Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan. Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan. Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai. Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai. Prabhu Agai Bhai Magiye Bhikha. Prabhu Agai Bhai Magiye Bhikha. Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika. Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika. Aparara Shunna Hoy Loho Krishna Naam. Aparara Shunna Hoy Loho Krishna Naam. Krishna Mato Krishna Pito Krishna Dana Pran. Krishna Mato Krishna Pito Krishna Dana Pran. Krishna Samsara Koro Charyana Cham. Krishna Samsara Koro Charyana Cham. Divedoya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Divedoya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai. Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai. Nadia Gojumanithananda Mahajan. Nadia Gojumanithananda Mahajan. Hatya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev, all glories to assembled Vaishnava devotees, and all glories to His Grace, SRIVAS VANACARI Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, thank you for being here, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you for
Krishna.
this opportunity.
Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, today we are fortunate we have the presence of His Grace SRIVAS VANACARI. He's been a mentor to most of us on this platform, especially those of us from West Africa. And personally, like myself, about 95% of what I know in devotional service, all due to Prabhuji's grace and mercy. So it's always blissful to have its association on this forum when we cannot have physically its association. So Prabhuji, we're very much thankful for you to be here today, and we will put the verse on the screen. And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So we can begin?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Okay. Narayana namaskritya narachaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamutirayat ashtapraya subhadresu nityam bhagavatam sevaya bhagavati uttamasloke bhakti bhavati naistiki Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Is it verse 2 or verse 1?
Oh, verse 1. Yes, sorry. Thank you. Yes, because you started the verse.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, verse 1. Rajo Vacha Brahmana Chodito Brahman Guna Kyane Gunasya Cha Yasmai Yasmai Yata Praha Narado Deva Darshanaha Brahmana Chodito Brahman Guna Kyane Gunasya Cha Yasmai Yasmai Yata Praha Narodo Deva Darshanaha Rajo Vacha Brahmana Chodita Brahman Guna Kyane Gunasya Cha Yasmai Yasmai Yata Praha Narado Deva Darshanaha. Word for word translation. Raja the king, Ovacha inquired, Brahmana by Lord Brahma, Choditaha being instructed, Brahman, O learned Brahmana, Shukadeva Goswami, Guna Akyane, in narrating the transcendental qualities, Agunasya of the Lord, who is without material qualities, Cha and Yasmai, and whom? Yata as much as. Praha explained. Narada Muni. Deva Darshana, one whose audience is as good as that of any demigod. Translation. King Parishit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, how did Narada Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is without material qualities, and before whom did he speak? Purport. Devarishi Narada was directly instructed by Brahmaji, who was also directly instructed by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the instructions imparted by Narada to his various disciples are as good as those of the Supreme Lord. That is the way of understanding Vedic knowledge. It comes down from the Lord by disciplinary succession. And this transcendental knowledge is distributed to the world by this descending process. There is no chance, however, to receive the Vedic knowledge from mental speculators. Therefore, wherever Narada Muni goes, he represents himself as an authorized as authorized by the Lord, and his appearance is as good as that of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the disciplic succession, which strictly follows the transcendental instructions, is the bona fide chain of disciplic succession. And the test for such bona fide spiritual masters is that there should be no difference between the instruction of the Lord originally imparted to his devotee and that which is imparted by the authority in the line of disciplic succession. How Narada Muni distributed transcendental knowledge of the Lord will be explained in later cantos. It will appear also that the Lord existed prior to the material creation, and therefore his transcendental name, quality, etc., do not represent any material quality. Whenever, therefore, the Lord is described as aguna, or without any quality, it does not mean that he has no quality, but that he has no material quality, such as the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, as the conditioned souls have. He is transcendental to all material conceptions, and thus he is described as aguna. Om Jnana-timirasya Jnana-salakaya Chakshuramalitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yukta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Suhagana Ragunastam Bitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Iti Namine Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Asri Tatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvese Sashunyavadi Pasachade Satarini Vanchakalpaturubhyascha Kripasindubhya Ivacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gauratvize Namaha Nityanando Vatutendo Ruvasuda Pranavalabha Janaviri Jivita Patir Krishna Prema Prabhu Padmavati Sutta Srimam Sachidananda Purvajaha Mavom Mata Jagat Rakta Rakta Gora Kele Varaha Advaitam Harina Dvaita Racharyam Bhakti Shamshanat Bhaktavattaramitam Sham Advaita Acharya Shraye Panchatattamakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankajanabhaya Nama Pankajamaline Nama Pankajanitraya Namaste Pankajagraye Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagaritaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopita Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Srato Pango Mama Madhirgatima Sarvasva Padambujo Radha Mandana Mohano Divya Vindaranya Kalpadurmada Srimad Radhagara Simhastanastau Srila Govinda Devo Pristhyani Bhisevya Manosmarami Srimam Rasarasarambi Vamsivata Tatastita Karusan Venuswanai Gopi Gopinata Sriyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusuta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Devi Krishnamai Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarvam Kanti Samohini Paraha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. King Parikit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, how did Narada Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is without material qualities, and before whom did he speak? Mukam karoti vachalam pangum lagayate grim yan kiripatama hanvande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramanam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Akanda Mandalakaram Vyapta Yena Characharam Tatpadam Dashitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So everyone is welcome to this Srimad Bhagavatam class. And before we say something, we would seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis on the platform so that we may be able to say something beneficial for our own spiritual purification and probably for the benefit of the audience. So, in this verse, a question is being asked. Parikit Maharaj is placing a question before his guru, Shukadeva Goswami. How did Narada Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is without material qualities, and before whom did he speak? So, Lord Brahma is the guru of the universe. But Brahma is the acharya of the universe. Because he is the first student of the Vedic tradition. Tene Brahma Hiraya Adi Kavaye. Lord Brahma performed severe austerities in the beginning of the universe in order to attract the attention of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Brahma was born from the lotus flower, he could not find his source. Brahma was running up and down the lotus flower, going in and out of the lotus flower, trying to find his source. But after trying for a long time without any success, Brahma decided to go back on top of the lotus flower to sit down. And as he sat down, he heard a sound, tapa. And because he's a very intelligent person, of course, somebody with 4 heads, 4 brains, 8 eyes, and 8 ears. He must be very intelligent. So when he heard the sound tapa, Brahma understood that he has to perform some austerity. Trying to find the Lord without some austerity was difficult. So therefore, Brahma began to meditate, and eventually, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu revealed himself to Brahma. Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, he showed his lotus feet to Brahma. And then Garbhodakashaya Vishnu revealed his entire form, sleeping on the Ananta Sesha. And when Brahma saw the beautiful form of the Lord, Brahma was satisfied. And then the Lord revealed to him the 4 principal verses of the Bhagavatam. They are called the Chatusloki. The Chatusloki are the seeds of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Brahma received the 4 seeds of Bhagavatam, very much coded. And Brahma expanded on this Chatusloki. After expanding on them, he gave them to Narada Muni. He imparted the knowledge to Narada Muni. And Narada Muni also digested the knowledge and also passed the knowledge on to his disciple Srila Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva also digested the knowledge and also passed it on to Shukadeva and other disciples. And Shukadeva Goswami also digested the knowledge and passed it on to Parikshit Maharaj and Sutta Goswami. So it's during the discussion, during the transmission of this knowledge on the banks of the Ganga, that Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukadeva Goswami these questions. So Brahma is the guru of the whole universe. Every knowledge that we have, especially transcendental knowledge, is coming through Brahma. Of course, there are also other sources of knowledge. For instance, Srimad Bhagavatam has another line. Sankrishan, the incarnation of Ananta Sesh, who is at the bottom of the universe. It is mentioned that he also spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to the Kumaras, Sanat Kumara in particular. Sanat Kumar and his brothers, they travel all the way from Brahmaloka via the Ganga, the river Ganges, to the bottom of the universe to meet Sankrishan. And Sankrishan, even though he was in trance, meditating on Lord Vasudeva, Sankrishan understood that there were some students who had come to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from him. And so he slightly opened his eyes and spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Sanat Kumar. Sanat Kumar became the recipient of Srimad Bhagavatam from the lotus lip of Sankrishan. Later on, Sanat Kumar also spoke the same knowledge to Sankyayana. Sankyayana became the disciple of Sanat Kumar and received Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Sankyayana also spoke Bhagavatam to Parasara Muni and Brihaspati. Actually, it is said that Parasara Muni's father was eaten up by some demons. And Parasara Muni was very angry. He was performing a yagya to kill all demons. He was going to chant mantra so that all the demons would come and fall inside the yagya for eating his father. But Vashishta Muni appeared on the scene and told Parasara Muni that you cannot say because one demon has eaten your father, so you're going to eradicate the whole demon race. Just like the case of Dhruva Maharaj. One Yaksha killed Dhruva's brother, Uttamasloka. And Dhruva Maharaj killed millions of Yakshas. to the degree that Manu had to appear and talk to Dhruva. That, my dear Dhruva, you are a known devotee. You are an exalted personality. You are known throughout the universe as the #1 devotee of Lord Vishnu. Your activities do not comply with your position. Just because one yaksha has killed your brother, you have killed millions of yakshas. This is not correct. As a saintly devotee of the, it's not correct. You should stop. And so Swayambhuva Manu talked Dhruva out of that activity. So the same way Vashishta Muni spoke to Parasara Muni that you cannot perform this yagya simply to kill all demons because one demon has eaten your father. And so Parasara Muni, he listened to Vashishta and desisted from performing the yagya. He actually forgave all the demons. And so Pulyastya Muni is the father of the demons. So Pulyastya Muni was very happy that Parasara Muni had forgiven out of his Brahminical quality of forgiveness. He has forgiven the demons that have eaten his father. And so Pulyastya Muni blessed Parasara Muni. He said, for this single act of forgiveness, you will become a great speaker of the Bhagavad Purana. So by that blessings of Pulyastya Muni,
You want some? Awesome.
Maharaj, you are muted.
Yes, Prabhuji. Good.
so since how long have I been muted?
Just few seconds.
Okay.
Yes.
So when Parasara Muni exhibited the quality of forgiveness, Pulyastya Muni, the father of the demons, became very satisfied with Parasara Muni, and he gave him the benediction that he will become a great speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. And as a result of that blessing, Parasara Muni had the association of Sankhayana, and Sankhayana spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to him in the presence of Brihaspati. So Brihaspati also became a student of Sankhayana, just as Parasara Muni was a student of Sankhayana. So Uddhava, who is Krishna's prime minister, was a student of Brihaspati. Uddhava actually learned Srimad Bhagavatam from Brihaspati. And Maitreya Muni became a student of Parasara. So Maitreya Muni received Srimad Bhagavatam from Parasara Muni. And later Vidura also met. When Vidura met with Uddhava on the banks of the Yamuna and was inquiring about the welfare of the Yadus, the welfare of the Kurus, the welfare of everybody, and he got to know that Krishna had disappeared. He got to know that the Yadavas, they have disappeared. He got to know that everybody else was gone. Vidura was very sad. He actually cried. And then Uddhava told him that when Krishna was leaving the planet, he left a message for you. But I cannot deliver the message because there is a much more qualified person who is senior in age. He's at Haridwar, and he was referring to Maitreya Muni. You better go to him and receive that message. So Vidura quickly left Vrindavan and went to Haridwar, and he met Maitreya Muni. And there on the banks of the Ganga, Maitreya spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Maitreya Muni. So in this way, Narada Muni, he received Srimad Bhagavatam from Brahma. So there is a one line coming from Brahma of Srimad Bhagavatam coming from Brahma through Narada, through Vyasadev, to Shukadev, to Parikit and Sutta Goswami. There is also another line coming from Sankarshan, through Sanat Kumar, through Sankyayana, through Parasara Muni, through Maitreya, Vidura, or through Brihaspati, Uddhava. So these are the various lines, the lines of disciplinary succession through which Srimad Bhagavatam was delivered. So definitely, Brahma is a very exalted speaker. Brahma is the first recipient of knowledge, Srimad Bhagavatam knowledge, from Krishna, from Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. And therefore, he is qualified as the Jagat Guru, the universal Guru, the teacher of the universe. But nevertheless, the knowledge has to be passed on. So Brahma instructed this knowledge to Narada, and Narada instructed this knowledge to Vyasa. And Vyasa instructed this knowledge to Shukadev. And Shukadev instructed this knowledge to Parikit Maharaj. And in that assembly, many other persons had the Srimad Bhagavatam, including Sutta Goswami. And later on, Sutta Goswami, he spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam to the 88,000 sages in the forest of Naimisaranya. So here, Parikit Maharaj is asking Sukadeva Goswami, how did Narada Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, how did he explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is without material qualities? And before whom did he speak? So Prabhupada mentioned that Narada Muni, he speaks to the demigods. Actually, it's Devarishi Narada. Devarishi Narada means he is a saint among the demigods. Just like Brihaspati. Brihaspati is a saint among the demigods. Brihaspati is the guru of the demigods. Narada Muni is also of the same caliber. He is also the rishi of the demigods. And so his audience, Narada has an unlimited audience. He has high class audience, he has low class audience. Narada Muni's disciples, Narada Muni's audience is just unlimited. He is a guru of Srila Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva is said to be the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Srila Vyasadeva compiled the very literatures for the entire world. But he also got into trouble trying to understand his despondency, his unhappiness. And at that time, Narada Muni understood that this great personality needs my help. And so he appeared in the ashram of Vyasadeva and diagnosed his disease. So Narada Muni is a universal spiritual master. And his duty is to educate everyone spiritually. Tasmat Guru Prapadyanta Gigyansu Sreyam Uttamam Sabde Pare Nishnatam Brahmani Upasham Shrayam. Any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take full shelter of him by the process of initiation. The qualification of such a spiritual master is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood as the bona fide spiritual masters. So Narada Muni is a bona fide spiritual master who travels throughout the universe giving spiritual enlightenment, giving spiritual guidance. Narada Muni is the spiritual master of Dhruva Maharaj. Narada Muni is the spiritual master of Prahlad Maharaj. Narada Muni is the spiritual master of Mrigari. And Narada Muni is the spiritual master of many, many other distinguished personalities. So he has a great audience. And he is very much revered for his deep knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Actually, Narada is said to be the empowered incarnation of devotion, Bhakti Shakti. And therefore, he goes everywhere with one goal, one aim, one focus, how to give out devotional service, how to engage everyone in devotional service. That is all what Narada Muni thinks of, how to engage everybody in devotional service. And as far as the qualities of the Lord are concerned, the Lord is described as Harihi Nirguna Shakshat, Purusha Prakrite Paraha, Sasarvadrik Upadrasta Tambajam Nirguna Bhavet. Harihi Nirguna Shakshat means that the Lord has no material qualities. Nirguna means without material qualities. Nirguna does not mean without spiritual qualities. The impersonalists, Mayavadis, they misinterpret the word Nirguna. They say the Lord has no qualities. But the understanding is that the Lord has no material qualities. The Lord is not influenced by the mode of goodness. It's not influenced by the mode of passion. It's not influenced by the mode of ignorance. These are the gunas. These are the material qualities that are affecting every living entity in this material world. But when the Lord appears in this world, he does not identify with these qualities because he is transcendental. Purusha prakrite para. Purusha prakrite para. The Lord is beyond the three modes of material nature. He is a person, Purusha, but he is beyond prakriti. He is beyond the three modes of material nature. So therefore, he is without material qualities. And because of his transcendental position, anyone who associates with him, anyone who worships him, anyone who thinks of him, anyone who has any contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead also begins to develop those transcendental qualities. Tamba jam nirguna bhavat. Anyone who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead also becomes nirguna. Anyone who offers obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead also becomes nirguna. Anyone who thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead also becomes nirguna. Anyone who chants the names of the Lord also becomes nirguna. And that is why Krishna is instructing us in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhava mabhakto mamya jima namaskuru. Think of me, become my devotee. Offer your obeisances unto me, worship me. And by doing so, you become eligible to enter the spiritual sky. So devotional service means associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, everything we do in Krishna consciousness gives us the association, gives us the transcendental association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as we associate more and more and more with the Supreme Lord, we become eligible to enter the spiritual sky. We become purified to enter the spiritual sky. We become again naturally situated in our pure consciousness. Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishna Nityadas. The living entity by nature is a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is our natural constitutional position. And material existence means we forget that position. But when we take to Krishna consciousness in the association of devotees, then again our Krishna consciousness is revived. Sadhu Sangha Krishna Kripa Bhakti Swabhava. By taking association of devotees, Sadhu Sangha, one gets the mercy of Krishna, Krishna Kripa. And by getting the mercy of Krishna, devotional service becomes easy. Bhakti Devi becomes very favorably disposed towards the devotee. So Narada Muni is a universal teacher. He's as good as Brahma. Narada Muni goes everywhere. Even he goes to the hell. Narada Muni goes to hell to preach to people in hell. Narada Muni goes everywhere. He has been blessed to enter any environment. He is not limited anywhere. He can enter the spiritual sky. He can enter the hellish planet. He can come to the earthly planet. He can go to the heavenly planet. Narada Muni is such a universal teacher, a universal guru. So he goes everywhere. And his message is Krishna Bhakti. If you remember the story of Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother. And because Hiranyakashipu was very dangerous to the demigods. So while he was away, the demigods arrested Prahlad Maharaj's mother, Kayadu, and they wanted to kill the child in the womb because they were afraid that if this child is born, seeing what the father is doing, he would do worse things. So they felt they should kill the child before he was born. So they arrested the mother. And just around that time, Narada Muni appeared. Narada Muni was passing by and he saw the demigods manhandling Kayadu. They were mistreating Kayadu. So Narada Muni stopped them. He says, look, I told you people are civilized people. You say you are devatas. You are supposed to be civilized. But look at how you are handling this woman. It's not correct. And they said, oh, you don't understand. The husband is the great demon Hiranyakashipu. He has troubled us so much. And now the wife is pregnant. So we are afraid that the child will be worse. So we want to make sure the child is killed. We don't want him to be born. That's why we arrested the mother. It's not a mother we are interested in. We are interested in the child. We want to kill the child. And Narada Muni says, sorry, you don't understand. You are all blind people. You are fools. The child in the womb of this woman is not an ordinary child. He is a Mahabhagavat. He's a great devotee of Krishna. You cannot kill him. You don't have the power to kill him. So don't waste your time. And he took away Kayadu from the demigods. He gave her shelter. And while Kayadu was staying in the ashram of Narada Muni began to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. He began to speak Narada Pancharatra. He began to speak transcendental knowledge to the fetus in the womb, to the zygote in the womb. And this child, even though he was not fully developed, he was hearing Bhagavatam. He was hearing Narada Pancharatra. He was hearing transcendental knowledge. And even though the mother forgot everything, Prahlad did not forget. So from the very beginning of Prahlad's life, he was full of knowledge. And that is why he could not keep quiet. Anytime the teachers would leave the classroom, Prahlad would immediately organize a public lecture. He would climb the table, gather his friends, his classmates, and begin to teach them about Krishna consciousness, begin to give them lectures. So Narada Muni is a universal teacher. He is empowered to deliver Krishna consciousness everywhere. And he's fully aware of the qualities of the Lord because he's such an exalted personality. And so his audience is all over the whole universe, even snakes. Narada is the spiritual master of a snake. Such enveils living entities like a snake. Narada became a spiritual master. And he told him, now that you become my disciple, don't bite anybody again. And the snake said, all right, Gurudev, your instructions I will follow. So he became he became a saint. He became harmless, tolerating everybody. And then children began to throw stones on the snake, almost to the point of death. And he was saying, oh, my Guru Maharaj said I should tolerate. My Guru Maharaj said I should not bite. When Narada Muni came to see his disciple, he was almost on the verge of death. He said, what happened to you? His body was full of sores. He said, Guru Maharaj, you said I should not bite. And because I don't bite anymore, I have become non-violent. All these street children are throwing stones and sticks on me. That's why I'm like this. Narada said, all right. When I say don't bite, I don't say you should not raise your hood. If anybody comes attacking you, don't bite. But raise your hood just to frighten them, let them run away from you. So the snake again took the orders of the guru very tightly, very strongly. Next time children came, he raised his hood and they all run away. He said, hey, this snake is very dangerous. And they run away and they did not disturb the snake again. And the snake followed the orders of Narada Muni. And the snake went back home, back to Godhead. So Narada Muni is a universal teacher. He has unlimited disciples all over the whole universe. He goes everywhere preaching, and the message is love of Godhead. And because he's such a caliber of devotee, he also have great devotees. Even most of these kings, Narada used to visit all of them. Chitraketu Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Narada visits every one of them. Vasudev, there are many communications, transactions between Narada and many kings. He has a wide audience of disciples, big and small, human beings, non-humans, all kinds of disciples Narada Muni has. So he's a Jagat Guru. He is very merciful. He wants to deliver the whole world. So he travels everywhere and gives spiritual instructions. That is the position of Narada Muni. So I think 1 hour is gone now. If there are any questions or comments, they are welcome. Since our time is far away, it's 9:32 now. So if there are any comments, they are welcome. There are no comments, we call it a day.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. You know for sure that there are more than unlimited questions. I was shocked to see that we've already spent like 60 minutes.
Yeah, time is gone.
I was thinking it's just been about maybe 25 minutes. Then I realized when you're enjoying something beautiful, you don't really see the time moving.
Yeah, time is short.
Yeah. So, Dr. Hassan, please, you may unmute and go ahead to speak.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please kindly
Hare
accept my humble
Krishna, Dr. Hassan, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and all glory to you and
Hare Krishna.
all glory to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Please, thank you for this wonderful class. And I'm very blessed and happy to hear you. I have 2 questions. My first question is, you do mention that the snake is envious entities, and Naramuni preached to them to become a pure devotee so that they can go back to Godhead. So, and Anantasisa is Lord Balaram himself. So these snakes, they are descendants of Anantasisa, or they are different entities? Because
all right, go ahead, finish your question.
So this is my first question, and my second question is, you do mention that Narad Muni can go everywhere, and he go to hell to preach people. So this people's in hell, if when he preach to them and they repent or they become a pure devotees, do they go to the spiritual world, or they born into they born again to a devotee family? This is my question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So going back home is once you have the qualification, you go back home. Taking birth in the family of devotees, taking birth as human beings. It's just an opportunity. It is to give an opportunity to attain perfection. The human form of life is the best form for attaining perfection. But sometimes we see that even lower forms of creatures, lower species of creatures, they get the mercy of the sadhus, they get the mercy of Krishna, and so they don't even need to come to the human platform. They go right back home. For instance, when Lord Chaitanya gave his mercy to the animals of Jarikanda, Lord Chaitanya was traveling to the forest of Jarikan, and he induced the lions and tigers and deer and elephant to chant Hare Krishna and dance. All those animals were liberated. They did not have to become human beings again. They went back home, back to Godhead. Even it is said that Shivananda's dog, when Shivananda used to go to Puri with the devotees, every year when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Puri, every year the devotees from Bengal, under the leadership of Shivananda Sena, they will go to Puri to attend the Ratha Yatra program. And there was Shivananda Sena had a particular dog who was like a human being. He will also go for the Ratha Yatra. Anytime they are going to Puri, this dog will follow. And even when they reach some places where they have to cross rivers, the boat people will charge the dog. They will not allow the dog to enter the boat unless fees were paid. They considered him a human being. And Shivananda Sena will pay the fee for the dog for him to cross. And he will also go to Puri with the devotees. So one time, there was, Lord Nityananda was with a group, and they got to a place. They had to pay some toll gate before they could pass. And the people at the toll gate, they were delaying, they were creating problems. So Sivananda Sena had to put extra effort to clear everyone to make sure that the chance was given for them to pass. And while Sivananda Sena was busy taking care of the toll, the devotees forgot to give the dog some food, the dog that was following them. They forgot to give him food. So the dog got angry with the devotees and he left them and went ahead to Puri, because he has been going to Puri every year, so he knows the road. And dogs are very good at directions. They are very expert at directions. Dogs and cats. Dogs, cats, even cows. If you take a cow somewhere and leave it, it will come back. So the dog left them behind because they didn't give him food. Because Shivananda Sena spent a whole day trying to negotiate with the people to arrange the toll. So, and the dog was neglected. So the dog became angry, he left them and went to Puri. By the time the devotees arrived in Puri, this dog was sitting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeding the dog with coconut pulp. Devotees used to bring coconut to offer to Lord Chaitanya, very sweet coconut. And so Lord Chaitanya had drank one coconut and had removed the pulp. He understood the dog was hungry. So he drank the coconut and removed the pulp inside and was feeding the dog. When the devotees, when Shivananda Sena and his group, they arrived in Puri, they saw the dog sitting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eating pulp, coconut pulp. And everybody was surprised how this dog had found his way to Puri. He had found his way to Mahaprabhu's house and was enjoying Mahaprabhu's remnants. And what happened the next day? The dog died. And it was said that the dog went back home, back to Godhead. Mahaprabhu had liberated the dog by giving him that coconut pulp. He ate the remnants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The mercy was too much for him. So he left his body, but he went back home, back to Godhead. So there are instances whereby the lower species of life, they get the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they don't need to become human beings again. They go back home, back to God. Actually, the arrangement is that when you are ready to go back home, back to Godhead, you take birth in a universe where Krishna is currently performing his pastimes. And in the association of Krishna and his pure devotees, you perfect your devotional service. And when Krishna is leaving that planet, then you follow Krishna back home, back to Godhead. So even the snake got liberated because he had a guru. He was taking instructions from Narada. So he got liberated. Your first question, what was the first question?
Yes, my first question was the snakes.
Yeah.
I believe the Anantashisha is Lord Brahma, Lord
Yeah. You wanted to know
Banana.
whether it's coming from the Anantasesha or coming from some other source.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so Anantasesha is the Supreme Lord himself. It's an expansion of the Supreme Lord. For the snake, Vasuki. Vasuki is said to be the king of snakes. But actually, it is also mentioned that Kadru is one of the wives of Kasyapa. You know, Kasyapa has 16 wives. And each of the wives was empowered to bring forth different species of life. Kadru was the mother of snakes. And Vinata was a mother of birds. And we have others who are mothers of scorpions, mothers of mosquitoes, mothers of eagles, mothers of different species. So it is said that all snakes come from Kadru. Kadru is the mother of snakes. And the father is Kasyapa. Kasyapa Muni is a Prajapati. So he's empowered to produce any kind of living entity he wanted. So his different wives produce different kind of species. It's unbelievable what happened in the beginning of the universe. But so these common snakes, they don't belong to Anantasesha. Anantasesha is the Supreme Lord himself expanding. That's why you're saying it is an expansion of Balaram. They are not ordinary snakes. They are transcendental snakes. Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, Shinodakashaya Vishnu, they all sleep on a snake bed. I don't think there is anybody who is rich enough in this world who sleeps on a snake bed. One, two. People claim to be incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada said there are two certificates they should produce. The first certificate is they should show their universal form. If anybody comes saying that he's an incarnation, we need to see his certificate, his credentials. He should show his universal form. Then we accept him as the Supreme Lord. And the second certificate is he should show his bed. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he sleeps on live snakes. Live snakes. We are afraid of scorpions. Who dare you sleep on a snake? You will not wake up to see yourself alive. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he enjoys sleeping on Anantasesha. Beautiful Anantasesha. And while he's sleeping, Anantasesha is his hoofs, 1,000 hoofs are over the Lord's head. And the Lord is sleeping in Yoga Nidra, no fear. The Lord is not afraid of any snake. So anybody who comes claiming that he's an incarnation, we should demand for these two credentials. First of all, show us your universal form. And Prabhupada said, if they cannot show the universal form, you should kick them on the head And second one is that let us see where you sleep. What kind of bed are you sleeping upon? We know that the Supreme Personality of God sleeps on a snake, a live snake. Let us see your snake bed. Then we accept you as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So those snakes, they are transcendental. They are expansions of Balaram. So they are not ordinary snakes. The ordinary snakes, they come from Kadru, the mother of snakes.
Yes, thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for those questions and, as usual, beautiful answers. I had so many questions, and these answers are creating more questions for me. But we go to Harichakra Prabhu, please. You may unmute Harichakra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam. All glories to you, all glories to Gurudev, and all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees. Yeah, like Sadev said, that you give an answer and it raises more questions. Yeah,
That's the Vedic knowledge. It produces questions.
yeah. The first question is in a follow-up of Bhatta Hassan's question. According to the Garuda Purana,
Yeah.
Shisha Nag, Ananta Shisha is the firstborn of Kadu.
Okay. Well, if it says that, no problem.
Yeah, and then when you were during your lecture, we were talking about the father of the demon.
Plastiamuni.
And
Yeah.
the same what do we call it? Garuda Purana says that Kashyapamuni is the father of the demon because his two wives, Diti and Aditi.
Yeah.
Aditi gave birth to the demigods, and Diti gave birth to the demon. So can you give a little bit clarification?
Yes, no problem. I see Plastiamuni is said to be the father of the demons, and Kasyapa also is the father of the demons. No doubt about it, because his wife Diti is the mother of the demons, and Aditi is the mother of the demigods. But what we can know is that these personalities, they are the parents or fathers or progenitors in different millenniums.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in different millenniums. Because you see, when one Manu is leaving, Manu is like the president of the world. Manu is the head of state. So when one Manu's time is up and is leaving, it is said that he leaves with a whole team of demigods, whole team of sages, whole team of Prajapatis, he goes with a whole team. And then the new Manu coming in also comes with his own team. Even the Supreme Personality of Godhead, every Manu has an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so when the Manu is leaving, a whole new team, including the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they're all new. So these are the different millenniums that the different Manus are coming and going. So in one millennium, Plastiamuni may be the father of the demons. In another millennium, Kasyapa is the father of the demons.
All right. Thank you for the clarification.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, if I may ask this question about these Pulastia and being Kashyapa being the father of demons. The Vedic scriptures tell us about the caste system, and the scriptures condemn the caste system.
Yeah.
So if the scriptures condemn caste system, then why would the offsprings of deity be referred to as demons? And as such, Prahlad Maharaj is considered to be a daitya, as a demon. But we know Prahlad Maharaj is a Mahabhagwat.
Yes.
So what do we learn from one race being demons, being demigods, asuras, suras, but within them there may be different individuals who may not have or exhibit those traits of characters, but yet they are referred to as such, like in the case of Prahlad, like I said. How do we understand this?
Yes. The fact that one takes birth in a particular race does not debar the person from becoming a devotee. So even demons can also become devotees, because it's just a matter of changing their mindset. Demon means against the Lord, and devotee means in support of the Lord, service to the Lord. So the fact that somebody is born among demons does not mean that he cannot become a devotee. And Prahlad Maharaj's case is just an example of that. That even though he was born in the family of demons, and his father was a king of demons, yet he was an exalted devotee of the Lord. It may sound contradictory. How is it possible for a demon to bring forth a devotee? It may sound impossible, but there is nothing impossible as far as Krishna is concerned. When Krishna wants to deal with a particular situation in a particular way, he makes the necessary arrangement. For instance, Hiranyakashipu had obtained boons from Lord Brahma, that he cannot be killed by a human being, he cannot be killed by an animal or any other form of life. He cannot be killed in the daytime, he cannot be killed at nighttime, he cannot be killed on land, neither in the air or on water. He cannot be killed daytime, not nighttime, he cannot be killed this. He eliminated all possibilities of death. So the Lord, seeing the situation, he decided to place a devotee in the womb of Hiranyakashipu. And so, because he's a devotee of the Lord, he would oppose Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu, thinking himself a great king of the demons, he would disturb the boy, he would attack the boy, he would offend the boy, he would do everything possible to deal with the boy. And by doing that, he commits very serious offenses. And then that would anger the Lord to come and eliminate Hiranyakashipu. That was a strategy, because Hiranyakashipu had obtained such boons from Lord Brahma that he cannot be killed by anybody. So the Lord has devised a plan by sending a devotee to his family. And when he became very offensive towards Prahlad Maharaj, to the point of even wanting to kill him, then the Lord could not tolerate it and appeared in the form of half man, half lion, and killed Hiranyakashipu. So if the Lord wants a devotee to take birth in a demonic family, he arranges it. And even sometimes a demon can become a devotee, like the case of Vritrasura. Vritrasura was a great demon. Indra was afraid of him. Indra had to go to meet Lord Vishnu to get some help. Indra was bewildered how to kill Vritrasura. So he went to consult with Vishnu. Vishnu said, this demon can only be killed by Vajrat, thunderbolt. And that thunderbolt has to be created with bones of a saint. It's not an ordinary thunderbolt. The thunderbolt has to be created from the bones of a saint. Only that kind of thunderbolt can kill this demon. And Indra was bewildered. Where am I going to get the bones from a saint? And Krishna said, all right, there is one very charitable saint. His name is Dadichi Muni. Go to him. Go and beg him for his bones. Initially, he will not give you. He will engage you in a debate. But don't give up. He is just testing you. He will give you the bones in the long run. So go see him. So all the demigods, they went to Dadichi Muni's ashram and they paid obeisances and they offered him prayers. And they told the Dadichi Muni they have come for a favor. And what was the favor? They wanted his bones. But before then, there was some misunderstanding between the Dadichi Muni and Indra. The Dadichi Muni had wanted to learn Samjivani, the science of Samjivani from the Aswini Kumaras. Samjivani means bringing people back to life. When somebody dies or somebody is wounded, there are some herbs that if you bring the herbs and touch, like the case of Lakshman, when Lakshman was hit by the arrows of Indrajit and he fainted, Hanuman had to go to the mountains to bring those herbs. There's some Jivani herbs. They are still there, but people don't know them. So the Dadichi Muni wanted to learn the science of Sanjivani from the Aswini Kumaras. And Indra did not agree. Indra told the Kumaras not to teach the Dadichi Muni. And he threatened the Dadichi Muni that if you invite these boys to come and teach you, I will cut off your head. Actually, he threatened the boys also that if they teach, he will kill them. But still, they found a way to learn the Dadichi Muni found a way to learn that knowledge from the Kumaras. And when Indra eventually cut their head, they used the knowledge to revive themselves like that. But finally, Indra has to go to the Dadichi Muni to beg for his bones. And Indra and then the Dadichi Muni engaged Indra in a very lengthy talk, lengthy debate. But finally, the Dadichi Muni entered into Samadhi, gave up his body, and allowed the demigods to take his body and extract the bones. And with the bones, the Vajranath was created. And with that Vajrat, Vritrasura was killed. But before Vritrasura died, he preached philosophy. He disgraced Indra. He made Indra look very foolish because he was a devotee in disguise. And so his devotional life came up. In fact, everyone was surprised to see how such a great demon, very dangerous demon, touching the sky, swelling people, how he preached Krishna Bhakti. And actually, he was praying to die so that he can be released from the body of a demon. He was praying to die so he can get out of the material creation and go back home. Indra was fighting to own the universe. Indra was fighting to protect the universe. But Vritrasura was fighting to give up his life and go back home, back to Godhead. So there are instances where we even see so-called demons, they become devotees. So it is not that these designations are permanent. They are not permanent. Somebody is a demon today, tomorrow he may be a devotee. And somebody may be a demigod today, tomorrow he can be a demon. So these designations, they are not permanent. And as you were mentioning about the Varnas, the caste system actually is divine because it's created by Krishna. It's created by Krishna. Krishna talks about it in the I think in the 14th chapter, 13, on the 4:13, chapter 4, verse 13, Krishna talks about this caste system. He said, I created them. I am the source of the caste system. So it is divine, but it's just that people have misused it. People have misinterpreted it. People have made it bad. In our body, there is a caste system in the body. In the universal form of the Lord, there is a caste system in the universal form of the Lord. The head represents the Brahmanas. The stomach represents the Vaishyas. The hands represent the Kshatriyas, and the legs represent the Sudras. Same way in the universal form, the face of the universal form, sometimes they say the tongue or the mouth of the universal form represents the Brahmanas. The arms represent the Kshatriyas, the belly represents the Vaishyas, and the legs represent the Sudras. So everybody has the departments of Varnas in his body. It's a natural system. But when people want to exploit it, then they spoil it by, the caste, the Varnas itself is divine. But when they emphasize on the caste, you are a Sudra, you cannot enter the temple. You are a Sudra, you cannot sit and eat with us. You are a Sudra, you cannot do this. That is where they spoil the Varnas and it become castes. But actually, this Varnas is eternally existing, even in our bodies, even in the universal form, Virat Rupa. This caste system is there, but it is not what it is. The Varna, the different qualifications of the different living entities. It is naturally there. So it is we human beings who have spoiled the Varna system. We have made it, we have degraded it to the caste level. And that is why it is rejected. But our legs are there, they serve as the Sudras. Our hands are there, they serve as the protectors, the Kshatriyas. Our stomach is there, it serves as Vaishya. And the face is there, the head is there, it serves as Brahmana. We can't run away from that. But when it is misused, then people reject it.
Well, thank you so much, Babuji. But this is the dilemma because as beautifully as you explained, it's exactly where the problem is coming from. Because Krishna explains about this Varna, which according to Krishna is based on guna.
Yes,
it's based on the qualities. However, as soon as someone is born of a particular family, he or she is termed a particular way. Like we're talking about the children of deity. They are all immediately referred to as demons.
Okay.
We were mentioning Prahlad Maharaj as an example because he is coming from that family line.
Mm.
Therefore, he is referred to as a deity, a demon.
Mm.
But I think there is a difference between someone being a demon who has now become a devotee than someone who is already a devotee. Like you were sharing the story about how the demigods wanted Prahlad Maharaj's mother have abortion,
Mm.
like like a miscarriage, I should say, a
Yeah.
miscarriage. And then Narada Muni told them, "You don't know, he's a very special soul." So Prahlad was already a pure devotee. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, even though it is considered to be a line of demons, but that does not mean that anyone born into that family is by nature a demon.
No. Yeah.
But
That's
that is how it's seen, and therefore it follows in lots of Hindu traditions that because someone is a Brahmin, the children are considered to be coming from Brahminical family, and they are addressed as such. But the same scriptures tell us that it is based on guna. So if someone is born in a Brahminical family and does not have the qualities, how then do you see him as a Brahmin? So this is the problem we are faced with, because everyone has scripture reference to support what they are doing or saying. I think so.
Yeah, but I think we have to understand that our acharyas, they're against this caste system.
Yeah.
They're against it because Prabhupada, in many places, he says Brahminical qualities are not by birth, it's by cultivation. If somebody claims to be a Brahmana, he doesn't have the qualification. It's useless claiming to be a Brahmana. So it's by qualification. You cannot say because your father is a judge, you are also a judge. No, nobody will accept you in a court as a judge. You cannot say because your father is a doctor, as heart surgeon, you also go to the theater and start operating people. No. You have to go for the training, otherwise you'll be arrested. So it's by qualification. You see, to be a Brahmana is by qualification, to be a Kshatriya is by qualification, to be a Vaishya is by qualification. But the demonic people, they just spoil the whole system and make caste system look very bad. And because of that, many people rejected the Vedic tradition. They rejected it because of this. In fact, in India today, we have a lot of Muslims and Christians in South India because this caste system was very strong down south. If you are a Sudra, you cannot pass where the higher classes are passing. If you're a Sudra, you cannot enter a temple where the higher classes are. In fact, it's even in Bengal, Prabhupada said, even in Bengal, in their days, if a Sudra is coming, he has to announce. He's coming. He said, I'm a Sudra, I'm coming, so everybody should hide.
Wow. Oh,
It's terrible. So if you go to South India, I was so disappointed when I went to South India. Kerala, Islam has taken over Kerala. Even around Guruvayur temple, historic Guruvayur temple, where Lord Brahma himself installed the deities of Krishna in Guruvayur. It's all surrounded by a mosque. And they make a lot of noise. They won't allow you to even hear the holy names. As early as 3 o'clock in the morning, they start with their prayers on loud speakers. It's like they intentionally direct the speakers towards the temple at the 4 directions. So you can't hear anything except, and they have got some millionaires who are just doing so many things to take over the state of Kerala. If you go to the other side, Christians, Everybody's abandoning Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, they're all becoming Christians. No understanding. They don't even understand why they are Christian. They're just becoming Christian because the caste system was too bad. Just too bad. But that is not what Krishna talked about. Krishna talked about quality. Everything is by quality. You say you are a Brahmana, what are your qualities? You say you are a Kshatriya, what are your qualities? What are your qualities? But they didn't consider that. Once you are born in a Sudra family, whether you are a Sudra, you're not a Sudra, once you've taken birth in a Sudra family, you're a Sudra. And then once you are born in a Brahminical family, whether you have the qualities of Brahmana or not, you are Brahmana. This is rubbish. This has spoiled the Vedic tradition. It has spoiled Sanatana Dharma in India. Seriously. But that is not what Krishna taught. Krishna taught guna and karma. But for them, they are applying birthright. And that has spoiled many things. So that's the issue. Anyway, if there are no more questions.
Shimabara Prabhu has a send up. Please you may unmute Shimabara Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ivaraji Prabhu.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. I'm in a noisy place. I'm at the airport, so I'm trying to hide myself somewhere to speak.
Okay.
There's so much noise. I just want to talk. There's so much noise. Okay. So thank you very much for the class. There is something in that story of demigods trying to steal Kayadu.
Okay.
To terminate a pregnancy.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me a question I couldn't really answer. So he said that that if you talk about demigods, these are people, beings that have control over humans.
Yeah.
They can affect us without knowing. And on our own level, we talk about witchcraft and so on, and they also have the power to affect people even without their knowledge.
Mm.
So he said they watch films and they see how even witchcraft can destroy somebody's womb or destroy a child in the womb without having to kidnap the person.
Mm.
So if we are talking about demigods, and then they have to come and physically kidnap her just because they want to terminate a child, that it doesn't really sound like we're talking about higher beings as we want people to believe.
Mm.
And I was a bit dumbstruck, and I couldn't answer that question. So what would you say to that question?
Well, thank you for the question. Certainly the demigods, they are supposed to have some powers. They are supposed to have some mystical powers. Actually, Srila Prabhupada mentioned in several places. In the Siddha Loka, they travel by flying. And in many different lokas, they have different cities. In the heavenly planets, in the different parts, different places, they have different cities. They are endowed with different cities, mystical perfections. So therefore, it is expected that they should have used their mystical perfections to terminate the pregnancy of Kayadu without necessarily dragging her on the ground. But at the same time, we can also say that, see, sometimes even though people have certain cities, but they can be bewildered. And when they're bewildered, they can forget that they have those CDs. It's like Hanuman. Hanuman had a lot of CDs within him. But Hanuman had forgotten. It was an arrangement that he will forget his CDs until he was reminded. So when Hanuman was reminded that he can fly over the ocean, then immediately it became manifest and he could fly. But before then, Hanuman was thinking of how he was going to go to Lanka until he was reminded. So even though the demigods may have some CDs, but based on what they were doing, if it were a wrong thing they were doing, their CDs could be covered, their CDs could be forgotten, and they will act on the ordinary level. And in the first place, because what they were doing was not right, actually. If they were, and we can see that because Narada Muni told them that even this child, if their CDs were with them, they could have understood that this is a Mahabhagavat. This is an exalted personality. We cannot do anything to him. But it appears that their CDs were gone. It appears they have forgotten their CD. They were blindfolded because they could not understand anything concerning the child in the womb. Neither did they understand, neither could they even think of how to eliminate the child without dragging the mother. So it looks like Maya covered their eyes, covered their intelligence, covered their CDs. And so even though they are supposed to know, but they were so covered that they did not know. And this happens to different people also. That when it is time to, like the case of, what is his name? Karna. Karna also was cursed that the time he would need the mantras, he would forget. Though he had been trained and he has some CDs to utilize, but he was cursed that at the time he would need those CDs to chant mantras, to invoke certain things, he would forget. And that's how Karna was killed. So similarly, because they did not actually, they were not using the CDs for a good purpose, it was taken away from them, they forgot. And so they could not remember, first of all, to effect the termination of the pregnancy without dragging the lady. And also, they could not even foresee that the child in the womb is beyond them. They could not even understand that that child is not an ordinary child. They couldn't do anything. They're supposed because they're demigods, they're supposed to understand that this baby here is a great personality, we should not touch him. But because their activity was condemned, so their knowledge was covered, their CDs covered, and they acted on the ignorant platform as if they did not have any knowledge at all. And we all experience these things. Sometimes we may have so much knowledge about certain things, but at a particular time, we lose the knowledge. It's covered. We can't remember it. We can't think of it. So they're supposed to know. They're supposed to act properly. But because they did not act properly, their CDs, their knowledge, their behavior, their culture, everything was taken away from them at that particular moment. That Narada Muni had to come and tell them, look, this child is not an ordinary child. Indra and his team, they're supposed to know. Brihaspati is supposed to know. Just like Sukracharya, when Vamana, they walked into Bali Maharaj's sacrificial arena, Sukracharya could understand that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so he advised Bali, don't give this short boy anything. Don't listen to him. He has come to take away your wealth. But Bali, being a devotee, he ignored Sukracharya's guidance, instructions, and did what he wanted to do. So from time to time, the powers that people have, the mystic that they have, the vision that they have can also be taken away based on the circumstances. And so that's what happened to them. And therefore they could not understand that this is a great soul. And they couldn't understand that we could even attack this child without going to the mother. So that knowledge was taken away from them temporarily. I don't know whether that answers your question.
Shimabara Prabhu, are you still there?
Yeah. Thank you very much. For now, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, there is one hand up.
Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my respectful
obeisances. All glories to Gurudev Prabhupada.
All glories to Gurudev, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to you.
All glories to you. I missed your call
devotees.
yesterday. I was in the class. I was teaching back to my Baba in the class, and my phones were all on silent. And after the class, I was going to my call. Oh, sorry for that.
Yeah, no. No, sorry. I'll call you later.
No problem.
Yeah, Maharaj, I have two questions.
Okay.
The first question is about Narada Muni.
Okay.
Preaching to the people in a hellish planet. I'm wondering how does he preach to them? Because we understand from Srimad Bhagavatam that before one even reaches the Yamaloka, the kind of torture that he has to go through before getting to the master is unbearable. So we understand that there's no rest, there's no peace. You know, imagine one has to embrace fire. Imagine one is put into an oil, boiling oil, and all that. So how does he preach to them?
Well, the preaching takes different forms. Narada is a strategic preacher. It takes different forms. There's a story of Janaka Maharaj. Janaka Maharaj also visited hell. And Janaka was standing at the gate to hell. And the wind that was blowing there, just the air that blew from Janaka Maharaj into the hellish planet, that air touched some people in the hellish planet, and they were free from their sins. So they were praying that Janaka Maharaj should remain at the gate, so that more air will come inside and purify them. So it might not be the physical preaching, chant Hare Krishna, do this, no. But just by his presence helps some living entities, like the case of Janaka Maharaj. Janaka Maharaj was found at the gate of hell, and the air that was blowing touched some people, and they felt relief from their reactions because of the holy air coming from Janaka Maharaj. So they were praying to Janaka Maharaj, you should not leave that place, you remain there. So it's possible he could use any tactic, any technique to give darshan to the sinful people of the hellish planets. I've not come across where it said that Narada Muni is preaching to somebody, but I mean face-to-face preaching to somebody, but it says he goes to hell also to preach. So he must have a technique. he must have a strategy how to preach to the hellish people. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
there was a
Thank.
similar situation with Maharaj Yudhishthira also, who also visited hell, and just by his presence also freed lots of the hellish individuals.
Yeah, it's possible.
Just by their presence.
Yeah, just by their presence, they freed a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. My second question is about these herbs. You
Herbs,
know, when
yes.
Yeah, you know, when Lashman was in trouble, when Lashman was dying, Hanuman was asked to go and bring a particular herb.
Yes.
And so Hanuman went to the hill and cannot find the herb. And so he has to carry the whole mountain. The whole mountain. You know, Lord Ram could have just asked Lakshman to get healed, and his words alone was sufficient to heal Lakshman. But Hanuman was asked to go and bring this herb.
Yeah.
It's a demonstration to us that this herbs Krishna has invested his powers into these herbs.
Yeah.
And so they are meant for our use. But we understand that the human body is temporary. Srila Bhattipad says that we are not interested in building what? He used a word, a body workshop. So we care about the souls, not the body. But without the body, the souls alone cannot be hovering in this world. And so we need the body. And so if the body is not well, if the body is sick, then there's no way we can, you know, cultivate Krishna consciousness, neither can we preach to a dying person to chant Hare Krishna. And so therefore we need a body. And so as a Brahmins, we're supposed to be endowed with knowledge in all aspects of life. And this knowledge means that our physical well-being is also very important. And knowing very well that, you know, Devantari, Krishna came as Devantari to introduce herbs, Ayurveda. I know Srila Prabhupada had a very short time for his mission on earth, and so he did not go deep into those areas. So the question is, why are we not teaching these herbs? Knowing that Krishna has given us these herbs for us to use. Actually, even in the Bible, it's also the same statement is there. Eat the fruits and use the leaves as a medicinal. So why the devotees not going into this subject to help the humanity? You know, this can be served as a bridge for people to walk through, and then we can actually give them Krishna consciousness. So why are we not going into these areas?
Well, I think some devotees on their own are going into it. We have, I've seen a number of devotees, even in Mayapur here, we have Ayurvedic clinics, and about 2 or 3 devotees who are Ayurvedic doctors. And also in Chaupati at Bhaktivedanta Hospital, we have devotees who are full-time Ayurveda. They have an Ayurvedic department. So it's not officially taught, but devotees are learning on their own, and then they're utilizing it. So it's like different aspects of this Vedic knowledge. Astrology, for instance. Astrology is also part of Vedic knowledge, but we don't encourage it, we don't teach it. But if a devotee is interested, he can learn, he can make use of it. So similarly, This Ayurvedic science, we are not teaching it, but devotees, there are schools, there are colleges where they have a course and one can go and learn, and then you can use them in the service of other Vaishnavas. So it is, I can say, because we have too many things doing, and our mission is to spread Krishna consciousness, the leadership, the things that we cannot add all these things as compulsory subjects. But if anybody wants to go and learn and then use them in the service of others, he's not discouraged, he's encouraged. Only that we don't create a facility. Of course, in some temples they are doing, like Chopati, the Eco Village, they have a department where they do Ayurveda. I think there is also another temple somewhere they also do Ayurveda. So they are learning and utilizing it to serve the devotees. But it's not widespread all over ISKCON. It's only practiced in isolation in different places. But at the same time, it is being utilized to a smaller degree. But if many more people want to get involved, I think they have the chance to learn more. It's not restricted to any particular people. Anybody can go and learn and make use of them. But they don't make it compulsory, they don't make it mandatory. No, but anybody can learn and make use of it.
Hare Krishna. Hare Chakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much.
Hare
As
Krishna.
usual, you are always giving us, you take us deep, 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 and we don't want to go away.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, going back to this and the question that is this Sahadev or Vara Prabhu who was mentioned about this health thing, about this demigod and their power. Yeah, when you read the Garuda Puran, what personally I realize is that the parents, especially the mothers of the demons and the demigods, they played very crucial roles in the lives of the children. That to the extent that if they disobey the mothers, they get into serious trouble. And sometimes if they listen to the mothers too, they get into serious trouble. So it was the mothers who were like the main brain behind them. Because if you see even what do we call it? Diti. When Diti wanted to beget children, Kashyapa warned her that this is not the appropriate time for you to beget children. Because if you do, your children will not come out properly. They will be demonic. And Diti said, I want it. So basically speaking, we realize that the problem is not the children. The problem is Diti.
Yeah.
And similarly, when the demigods got into trouble, there was no way. The demons were defeating them and all this thing. And they approached their mother, and their mother said, hold on, I know what to do. So their mother went into meditation to get the solution to their problem. But they were told, the demons were told by their mom, Diti, that if you don't disturb Aditi's meditation and you let her finish, then the demigods will be so powerful, they will defeat you again. So we realized that these mothers, they were playing crucial roles in the lives of these children. So my question is, if these mothers are playing such crucial roles, then what about us? So does that mean that if we don't have a powerful mother to be behind us and give us serious directions, then what can we do? Or is it Prabhupada, is it Guru who has replaced the power of that mother for us?
Well, it is said that women are the carriers of culture. Women are they're the first gurus. So we shouldn't be surprised what DT and ADT and all the rest of what DT and ADT and their children are doing. The fact is, women play a very important role in the life of the children and also in the life of the husbands. And so that is why it is recommended that ladies be trained nicely by their mothers. They should be empowered by their mothers so they can serve their husband and their children very nicely. But in Kali Yuga, they don't take any training. And so they are not able to assist their children, assist their husbands as much. But in Vedic times, mothers train their daughters very well so that they can be carriers of culture. So as you already said, if a mother is up and doing, if a mother she knows what to do, she knows the science, she knows the art, he can actually help. He can solve many problems. So DT and DT, they were very disciplined, trained, they know what to do. And so, but for us in Kali Yuga, we are not so fortunate because that training is more going on. So our mothers, they don't have that knowledge, they don't have that experience. And so that is the issue.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And again, this is a little contribution when we're talking about Narada Muni going to hell to preach. You know, in the Bible also, it was also explained that Jesus also went to hell to preach.
Yeah.
So it means all these exalted beings, they have the power to go to hell and deliver people.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
I guess this may be the last question. Shima Varaha Prabhu, please you may unmute. I see Prabhuji is having power issues over there.
Yeah, they're taking my light. They're off and on. It's raining here again, Billy, and they're taking lights off and on. Yeah,
I see. Shima Varaha Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Okay. Anyway, this question is both spiritual and administrative. Well, and then, of course, it's also, I mean, your last answer also has a little bit of it. So let me just start from there. That our mothers in Kali Yuga are not able to help us in that manner. Well, it depends on who, because, in Africa here, there are mothers who are actually, into culture and craft, and they know what they are doing, like you said. And I mean, like, we call them witchcraft, but they protect their children and they do everything like that. So anyway, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So Kali Yuga has not stopped women who have these powers to exercise that on their children. And many stories in that regard, which maybe will be out of a subject here. So now talking about herbs, and now you just rightly said in some temples here and there they teach this, but it's not official. So those who want to learn it can use it in the service of Vaishnavas. But it is actually becoming a polemic. It is not that it's becoming; it's being always, and it's getting more attention. The fact that some devotees are interested in this aspect, And that is the aspect they want to concentrate on, because they believe that it can help to attract people. And it's creating the debate whether it is not a distraction, whether it is actually they are doing the right thing or not. So what this topic is about, what I'm trying to talk. All the discussion on this. But what I want to add to it before you comment, and that is the jinx of the whole problem. That when you talk about astrology, and people go to India and they study astrology, and when you talk about Ayurveda, and people go to India and study Ayurveda, it doesn't seem to create eyebrow, all right? Because that seems to be authentic or civilized. But Africans have their own astrology. It's called Ifa. Africans have their own herbal thing. Sometimes they call it Ayurveda, they call it Otomoko or whatever. But this is African Ayurveda. And Ifa is also astrology. In fact, Ifa is basically astrology, it's for divination. So now, when people go to India and study this, and they want to use it, we will not frown about that. But if they mix it with the local one, then we'll frown. And sometimes people can combine both. They put the front one as the astrology, but they're actually using the local one they have learned, which they know how to handle very well. So I want you to, that's why I say this is both spiritual and administrative, because this problem is becoming serious every day and it will continue. So what do you really think? How do you think we can address this issue in a way that it can put everyone's mind at rest? That's my question.
Well, we are aware of the problem, and the solution is the issue. How to solve this what is the word? Polymeration, and that's the word. Polymeration of all these subtle sciences, astrology, palmistry, Ayurveda. People are using them in different ways to generate income for their maintenance and all that. And it's also affecting the preaching. So it's a very, very dicey issue. So for me, I would say it requires some discussion. It requires stakeholders to sit down and analyze the situation from different angles and then come up with some solutions. It cannot be one man's decision, because I may just see from my angle. I may just see from my understanding. But if we have stakeholders coming together to sit down and deliberate, sit down and brainstorm, then we can come out with something very solid. Then it becomes a universal application. So that's what I would say. Instead of saying one person to decide or think about it or pass a law, we should identify stakeholders, sit them down, sit together, and sincerely and honestly discuss such a thing and come to a conclusion. And that conclusion should be acceptable by all temples, by all people, so that we can save the society from these things. That is what I would say. It requires a discussion. It requires
thank the council chairman.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
okay. Thank you.
Thank
No, that's all right. That's all right. I just want to thank him for that.
Okay.
But the earlier, the better, because this is creating agitation every now and then, and it seems, it's been neglected and it's not being discussed.
Yeah.
But so I think maybe the earlier the better, because there's so much agitation, about this subject. And like ISKCON in general may not be very concerned, because these things is not a problem in the West. And in India,
No problem. Excuse me. It seems there is some sort of audio coming from your end.
Please, yes, please. Yeah. Lower the radio. Yeah. Sorry, I'm in the car.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, in the West, this is not a problem. And something that is not a problem in the West, ISKCON world does not really care much. In India, it is acceptable, is part of their tradition. And that's why, it's taught there, astrology is taught, Ayurveda is taught, and it doesn't create any problem. I mean, you discuss this like it's nothing, we do it here, it's our tradition, like that. You know what you want. But in Africa, it is a problem. And you know why it is a problem. So ISKCON may not have an official stand, because it's not a problem for them either in the West or in India. But our own particular situation is different. And that makes it a very, very important subject that is peculiar to Africa. And we have to know how to adapt it, or how to separate, one from the other. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Oh, I thought this was going to be the last, but we have the Bhakti Vedanta himself.
Chaitanya Prem is hanging up.
Yeah.
And he wants a contribution.
Okay, yes, please, you may unmute. Chaitanya Prema Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam, so glory to you. Maharaj, thank you very much for the powerful delivery and for your meticulous attendance to the questions. And we thank those who are contributing and who are asking the questions also, because these things are relevant, they are practical, and they are affecting us, and they need to be addressed. Actually, this particular subject matter, as Maharaj has said, there is need for a discussion on it.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, Nimitta Gyan is a universal science. The science of Omen, is a universal science. And in the Vedic culture, it's everywhere. Even during Krishna's time, it was being used. And those who have learned it, when they see the sign, they know what it means. And it goes down to every length. To when you are to travel, you see some animal crossing from left to right, you know what it means. Those who know the signs, they know. And by interpreting it, they save themselves, they save others also. And, part of it is when different demons attack Krishna or attack Vrindavan, the Mother Yasuda, all of them, they know some of these signs. They know what to put together. The sand from the cow's feet, they add it together with the cow urine, cow dung, they used to bath the Lord Krishna. This is a science that is being used. It's a universal science. So, I'm thinking that while waiting for the time to discuss it, we should still have it in mind that we can identify people who are interested in the science. They should go and learn it properly, become authority in it. Then it can be used as part of the preaching, because it's part of the African culture. It's a universal part of the universal culture already. So if we just need people who will just go and learn it and become authorities, then they can predict properly. The science of the science of prediction. That is it. And they interpret the sign, they interpret the stars, and Rohini appearing, and they know what it means. And the gurus in those days, they know all those things also, and they teach and they employ all those while reading horoscope. And so it is part of the Vedic culture. And we should just rather think of how to train people to use it properly and not to condemn or cancel it to Hare Krishna. You have already said it, so I'm only supporting you that it is good to create time for it so that we can discuss it and know how to pray about it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we'll seek permission to
Yeah,
retire and get into 11 o'clock.
Yeah, do you have a last word to say before we close? I mean, you are the speaker.
Well, what do I say? I will say that this last topic that is Vara Prabhu brought up and Chaitanya Prabhu also spoke about, I think we need to have some conference on it, and then maybe on Zoom so that everybody can participate from wherever you are. And then we can come up with some solutions to it. But definitely, the knowledge is required. Knowledge is required. Knowledge of astrology is required. Knowledge of Ayurveda is required. Knowledge of various departments are required, but it's only people have to learn it properly and apply it properly. Maybe we may have to license people, because these days people just jump into it without even any training, and that is where the problem comes from. If people are properly trained and they're licensed and they know what to do, they can align the preaching, or they can align that to the preaching. But in a situation where there's no training, no formal guidance, and everybody just jumps in and does what he likes, so my concoction will be there. And if there is not checked, it can even go a long way to affect the movement. So I agree that we need to come up with some meeting to streamline things and probably create a process by which people who are trained in it are recognized, they're licensed, they're permitted, and then they can also contribute something towards the national development or zonal development or whatever. So I think it's an important issue that has been brought up, and we should be planning how to organize some meeting on it. That's what I would say. Other than that, I'll say thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to share whatever we have been able to share. And we hope in the future again we'll meet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that this love of Godhead is unlike material thing, where we know that in everything we do in this material world, there is a diminishing returns. You have so much appetite to eating a particular food. Once you start eating, you get to a point that appetite wanes down. But that is not the case with love of Godhead. So each and every time, Prabhuji, you in particular, you come here to speak to us, you leave us more hungrier. But we cannot keep you here forever. So, but we really appreciate you being here and spending much of your time with us. It's really late. So, dear devotees, we humbly going to request you all to kindly unmute. And we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace Srivas VANACARI. Jai. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Patalogischa Kripa Sindhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai
Grace Vanacari Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.